Hello, everyone, and welcome to the beginning of the PlayStation section of Chris's collection. This is so exciting. Today, I don't know if the music kind of reveals it, but today we are playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and I will tell my story. I'm going to go ahead and put Alucard because I think, if I recall correctly, you start off with better strats if you type in Alucard's name. Journey back to 1792 and the Transylvania countryside of Romania. So this intro is just so fucking cool with Richter Belmont and all that. But we're not here to talk really about the game. We're here to talk about my story behind the game. So Symphony of the Night, it's kind of like a two-part story, I feel. Part one of the story is basically my introduction to this. I had kind of known about Castlevania, but I really found out about it through my friend Alex, who I've mentioned before in previous videos, and trust me, I will mention him a lot in a lot of other videos, along with my friend Gabe, because we kind of grew up playing these games. But in this particular case, one day I went over Alex's house, and his older brother Chris had a PlayStation. And for some reason, a lot of my friends' older brothers had PlayStations. Gabe's older brother Eric had a PlayStation, and what's it called? Chris had one. And so, oh, I love this. You can mess around with the loading. Woo! And so he was like, yeah, man, you've never played Castlevania? And I'm like, no, what the fuck is Castlevania? And he's like, dude, I'm going to show you. And he showed me this game in particular, Symphony of the Night. And, yeah. That's something Alex used to do. And later on, Alex got into it big time because he got a PlayStation, or at least a PlayStation was put in his room. So he got into it too, and kind of showed me the ways. But yeah, they showed it to me, and I just thought this intro was so fucking rad that, you know, you play as... I can't do any of the cool tricks, by the way. I know Richter has like all these cool tricks. I'm not particularly great at this game, but it just has... I have so many memories of it from my childhood and early teens and shit. But yeah, he you know, showed me it, and I just thought this introduction was like the coolest fucking thing in the world. I mean, just the whole, like, you get to play the prologue and, you know, just everything. Oh, and the shitty voice acting here. You know, it was just so great seeing this. So, sorry, this is so great. Humans who wish to pay me tribute. Tribute? And that's the voice actor, by the way, of Chris Redfield from the original Resident Evil. So I guess he was just going around the block, man, around this time. This came out in 97. Original Resident Evil came out in 1996, so... You know, he was just there, man. He was doing his thing. What is a man? This is so great. But enough talk. How about you? So anyway, to make a long story short, and yeah, fuck the Holy Cross. I mean, not from a religious point of view, but for this game, I use the fucking water. Yeah, it makes short work of Dracula. Because if you die, the little girl, Maria, comes out, and she's like, Richter, your strength. But, you know, I prefer not dying. It's kind of cool. So you just use Hydra Storm 3 times. Well, I'm talking like I'm a speedrunner. No! And I used to say, look, Peter Parker took a photo. He's like, good for JJ. Ah, shit. So now part 2 of the story. While this part, which this is probably the only part I hate about the intro. This is so boring, and it's unskippable. In the PSP version, they did a voiceover, so it makes it a little bit more bearable because it's good voiceover work. Anyway, so Alex showed me this, and then years later, I had moved away from the small town we had all lived in, and I wanted to add this to my collection. And so this was during a time where GameStops and EB Games and, dare I say, Babbage's, that some stores still existed around there, would actually still carry PlayStation games. Shit, they would still carry like if you were lucky, Genesis games or Super Nintendo games or NES games. It was pretty nuts. And so I went into I think it was at Miami International Mall. I went to because I live in Miami. I went to the Miami International Mall. I can't remember if it was a GameStop or a EB Games. I think it was an EB Games, and it was still called Electronics Boutique and shit. And I went in there and I'm like, hey, do you guys have Castlevania Symphony of the Night for PlayStation? And the dude's like, who? You're looking for Symphony of the Night? I go, yeah. And he's like, that's a tough one, man. Let me go look. And, you know, he went in and he was looking and to see if they had it. And he comes back and he's like, dude, you're in luck. We have a copy. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, no, that'll be $30 or like $40 or something. And for a game that old at that time, that was kind of outlandish, and it was pre-owned also. But it was so rare, and they even had the full case. They had like the full casing and everything. It was the greatest hits version, but it was like $30 or possibly even 40. I can't remember. But I remember my parents were like, Jesus Christ, Chris, and they're like, fine, because they understood I really was looking for this. And you know, now, you know, you can get this if you guys own a PlayStation 3. You can get this on the PlayStation Store, and it's like easy as hell. But yeah, you know, that's my story. You know, my friend Alex introduced me to it, and I just thought this was so cool. And we used to make jokes of how like the Alucard sword would be so useful against zombies. If Jill Valentine had the Alucard sword, God, it'd be so useful, because look at all these zombies I'm killing in one hit. So that was like a little Resident Evil joke we would make, because at the time I think we were really into PlayStation. I'm telling you, man, it might be my favorite console of all time, because God damn, I got some good memories. That's still up for debate. I mentioned that I think in the newest retrospectives be damned, which, by the way, at the time of this recording, it's up, long since up. And if you guys have not seen it, please go see it. I beg of you. It's pretty cool. My sister returns, and it's really funny. Let's just see this cutscene, and then I think we'll end it here. Alucard, what is your business here? I've come to put an end to this. Still befriending mortals. I'll not ask you return to our side, but I demand that you cease your attack. I will not. You shall regret those words. We will meet again. What? What? And now you just have Super Alucard punching. Anyway, guys, alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and end it there, because, you know, we got more stories to tell. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back later this week with some more PlayStation stuff. This is so exciting. We're moving on to the PlayStation era, and I have quite a number of games, so we're going to be on PlayStation for a while. Alright, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care.